It's good to know nobody's in pain. Yeah, yeah. All her tears come falling down her face, down her face, yeah, down her face. Yes, yes. All them tears come falling down her face, down her face, yeah, down her face. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, what a crazy dream I had. Yeah. Okay. Welcome to the Black Father Support Group Show here on the Galaxy of We.net. Thank you, Japan King. All right. Down her face, yeah, down her face, yes. All them tears come down her face, down her face, yeah, down her face. Let me tell you, felt a little tired. I decided to call it a night. I never stood you up before, you know I wouldn't do. So I talked to myself that tomorrow it's gonna be alright. After work, the evening's gonna be just me and you. Yeah, felt a little cold, so I tucked myself in. Before you know it, I was sleeping like a baby. Oh, it's getting to that time of year now, isn't it? I think we all got to get a dusting of the whiteness over the next few hours. I just got a feeling that we're going to get a dusting of this whiteness right across the whole of the area, the region. Let me just turn this down. That's it. I feel that we're going to get a dusting right across the whole of the regions because just hearing some of the reports that's out there, and the reports out there are not looking too great. But then again, you know, some of you like them snow business, but personally, you know it Rockstone, anyhow, you know. But anyway, we can't all have a beach life, can we? We can't all have a beach life. Anyway, this one here, I think very appropriately, right? And because of how everybody loves to hear a little bedtime story, you know, and I just like to just start this one off. And I'm gonna say as well that this one was submitted into our group, right, the BFSG group, by one of the members of the group as well. So, Brother D, thank you very much. And yeah, let's see how we get on with this one here, because everybody loves a bedtime story, and we know that that this time of year you can hear some serious bedtime stories are going on here.
And getting into your content and seeing how far down the rabbit hole you've gone and how intelligent and well researched you are, it really brought it to life. And I'm just looking forward to my audience reacting to what you've got to say, mate. So kind of, if you could start off by giving us a little bit about you and the research you've been doing and where you're at right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, obviously, my name is Billy Carson. I'm the founder of Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4. It's not a gang sign, by the way. And you got to say that these days. Everybody, I got so many messages about are you a Mason? No, it's Forbidden Knowledge. But anyway, I was born in New York, 1971. We came down to Miami, Florida to live. I was outside in my backyard one day just playing around, flipping around in the grass, looking up at the sky, watching airplanes go over from the private airport. And this object comes across, but it wasn't what I knew to be a plane. Even at the age of 7, I knew it didn't have a fuselage, a tail, a cockpit, and wings. Those are kind of the main, things you need for an airplane. And this thing cleared the horizon in my backyard. It went across in seconds, not minutes. A normal plane would just kind of go across, looking from our perspective on the ground, kind of slow. And even I knew as a kid, it went too fast. And I was like, whoa, what did I see? Then it came back and then it just stopped. Only now I can estimate about 200 meters above my head, completely silent, almost a complete egg shape, but slightly less than an egg oval, glowing metal. And it went the way it came in. I mean, just blink, it's gone. And I ran in the house. I told my mom, she was just telling me, yeah, she said advanced beings existed in the ancient past. And she started telling me about Machu Picchu. She said they used to live on tops of mountains. This is in the 70s. Wow. My mom told me this. And she didn't discourage me about the information whatsoever, but nobody else really wanted to talk about it. But the next day I went to my school, Rainbow Park Elementary, and I started researching from the Encyclopedia Britannica that day, all the aerospace information, swept wing, delta wing. I looked for ballistics, intercontinental ballistics. I mean, I went to everything, experimental planes. They were even talking about back then in the 70s, the potential for the shuttle program back then. So I started digging into aerospace. I became kind of a quasi-aerospace historian. And that rabbit hole of looking into all these declassified types of aircraft just took me down a million rabbit holes over the years, which got me into studying, advanced technologies, of course, Black budgeted technologies, which then took me into ancient civilizations, because in my opinion, some type of tech created those ancient sites, which led me down so many more rabbit holes into ancient tablets, inscriptions, papyrus, cylinder scrolls. I've now traveled the world over 30 times. I've been to a lot of ancient sites and places and met with indigenous wisdom keepers all around the world, gone through over 1,000 books, papyrus, scriptures, cylinder scrolls, and ancient texts from everywhere you could think of. Spent countless hours out in the desert, walkabouts in the outback with aboriginals. I've done it all. And so I've been able to come up with a lot of my hypothesis and conclusion based on a lot of firsthand research and a lot of scholarly research as well that have happened over many decades.
I kind of want to start us off on what I've been reading and watching a lot of what you've been saying on about the aliens, the Anunnaki, and how much evidence there is in ancient history that really seems to have been not really talked about. I've been in history class and I've never heard anything about it, and I'm listening to you being like, how old is this stuff? So maybe we can go down that avenue to start off with, and I think this interview can be a very kind of basic compared to how far you go, because I do want to touch on a lot of things that I've heard you talk about in a bit of detail, and then maybe part two can come and we can really go into it. But in terms of the information you've come across, the tablets and the scrolls and scriptures, how old is that? Like, do you know how old it is?
Yeah. Well, the tablets and scriptures and the oldest text we know of is around 40,000 years old max. Okay. That's the oldest text. We're talking about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. It's between 36 to 40,000 years old. And that might even be a copy from a much older tablet. But we do have an account of these beings that goes far beyond that. When you look at the Enuma Elish and the 7 tablets of creation, we discover that epic has been copied over and over again. And the oldest version is approximately 6,500 years old. And we know that they're talking about something that happened prior to that writing approximately 450,000 years ago. So we're talking about deep antiquity, knowledge of super ancient information, super antiquity, so far back that we can't even really grasp that human beings could be advanced and that there could be beings visiting and so forth and so on, all this going on that far back.
And you mentioned Thoth, and I hear you referencing, I assume it's a him a lot. Can you tell me a bit about him and what sort of things he wrote down?
Yes, he's one of these ancient beings that I primarily wrote my book about. He wrote the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and those tablets are, like I said, 36 to 40,000 years old. What's interesting about this being is he didn't claim to be a god. He never masqueraded as a god like the majority of his relatives, if you want to call them that, right? His consorts or his peers. These were advanced beings that had faces like you and I. Their body structure is slightly different, a little bit larger, a little bit different, but they are recognizable as a person that you can talk to and they can speak back. And he became known as the first intelligencer. He traveled around this entire planet, bringing knowledge, wisdom, civilization all around the planet, more specifically in the land of Kem or Kemet, where he developed alchemy and chemistry. Comes out of the land of Kem, which is pre-dynastic Egypt. And this guy literally is responsible, according to him, for the building of the Great Pyramid. He said, build it out of the Great Pyramid so that it too might last, remain through the ages. So this guy is a real sophisticated architect. He's got the blueprints, and he tells his team to go around the planet and duplicate what they rebuilt in Kemet after the Great Flood. But he said that they were going to bring civilization back up to a high level, which means it had already been at a high level prior to the flood, which the Sumerian tablets, the King's List, documents this, which is located in the Ashmolean Museum in Oxford, England. So this guy's a wisdom keeper, super smart being who claims to have even conquered death through knowing how to create avatar bodies and transfer his consciousness from body to body. He said so he can walk amongst men, but unlike a man.
Wow. Okay. So you're a smart dude, bro. I'm going to try and keep up with you. So when you talk about, he didn't claim to be a god, for example. Yeah. And it kind of, I think you described this in one of your interviews I watched, where you said, like, if you think about it, if we went back in time now from the version of us that we are now, even a couple of thousand years ago, and we have phones and knowledge and a lot of the things that they didn't have back then, we could pose as gods if we wanted to. So when you say he chose not to, he wasn't really a quote unquote god, but he wasn't of the same origins as human. He was something else.
Yes. He was something else. These people came from other planets, and a record of this can be discovered all over the world. You have the Dogon tribe, the original inhabitants of the land of Kemet before they got overthrown and moved out to Mali, Africa. But the Dogon tribe, they talk about the Nommo coming from the star system Sirius, right? Sirius B, which is a star that ran out of fuel. These beings created a breakaway civilization here on Earth. You have the Zulu tribe, same exact story. Then you have the indigenous people of the Americas, the red man, right? He's talking about the same thing. Our star brothers, they seeded us on this planet. They seeded us. According to them, the indigenous Native Americans, they were seeded here by Pleiadians. Then what's crazy is I go to Australia, I'm out in the outback with Aboriginals. They have the same exact story. We're the first people on this planet, they say, and their verbal handed down history for thousands of years is that they were seeded on this planet by Pleiadians. And there's Pleiadian hieroglyphs in the outback at Carryong 9, which nobody on the planet has been able to decipher yet. And they date back 5,000 years because of the patina inside of the glyphs that's been dated back to 5,000 years, verified. So we know that there's this story going on no matter what culture you go to around the world. You can go to the Urals of, Russia and Europe, and you go to Bosnia and the Bosnian pyramid area. The stories just are the same exact stories. Beings from somewhere else came here. According to the ancient Egyptians, they say the Nitiru came here. They call them the Nitiru, and it's Thoth. And they depict them on the Edfu temple. Thoth, Isis, Horus, Osiris, and those beings, they claim, came at the time of Zep Tepi. That's the beginning times. And they said they turned mud into a kingdom. And of course, the Sumerians have the same exact story in the Sumerian tablets, in the Atrahasis epic, in the Enuma Elish, and so many more. You can read the Mahabharata, the Bhagavad Gita. All these texts are telling you the same story. People from somewhere else, and I do mean people, not little green men with little antenna, people that we can identify as a person that we can speak to back and forth and learn from. They engaged us in some way, shape, or form, and they came to this planet and created a breakaway civilization. And why? My research tells me that there was a war that happened in the Pleiades, and I'm covering this in my new TV series, Anunnaki History, which is coming out next year. And so this war created a situation where a weapon was used called the Brahmahanda weapon, which had the power to destroy any man on 3 worlds. It was blowing up planets. It was blowing up moons. Imagine if Mars blew up right now. On Earth, we'd be really scared because of debris that can come and create a cataclysmic event. People became space refugees. And this is my personal hypothesis now. Now I'm going to my hypothesis mode, that they left those areas and those regions and went into new sectors to create breakaway civilizations, kind of a fresh start, and Earth was one of them.
And I've seen you kind of looking at satellite images from other planets where you look at, in detail, unusual structures, for example. But have you, I've heard from David Icke him saying the word Nibiru as a possible planet they came from. Do you have an idea of where these people came from?
Yeah, so that's a good question. Nibiru and Anunnaki are 2 terms that people say don't exist, but they're mentioned in the Enuma Elish. So we know those terms and those words are real words, but some of them came from Sirius star system, some came from the Pleiades, some came from Aldebaran, some came from the Epsilon Boötis constellation. So there was a varying different array of planets that these people all came from. When they spread out from the Pleiades, they literally populated many stars. They actually have the power to travel from star to star, something that we're supposed to be able to do now, but with all the suppression and oppression, we haven't been able to get there. But so we're talking about a multiracial, multi-planetary species that created an Atlantean civilization. That's the name. They're all Anunnaki, because that means from those from heaven came to earth. But they created an Atlantean civilization on earth, and earth was Atlantis, not just a ring city in the Atlantic Ocean. Yeah. That was just one capital of dozens that existed, but the entire planet itself was Atlantis. And I believe Atlantis was, even in this solar system, an interplanetary civilization as well.
Yeah, so when people say, where did Atlantis go? We're on it, essentially.
We're on it. We're all standing and sitting on it right now.
and how advanced, if we were to put a time frame on it, how much more advanced technologically were they than us right now?
Well, if you look at where we are right now as a species, they were approximately 1 million years ahead of us, which is a big number. Wow. And the reason why I calculate this and how I come up with this is a hypothesis. This is not stated in any record. But when you look at the fact that we're talking about approximately 450,000 years ago, they arrived initially, the first pantheon. The pantheon doesn't come out of Greece, and the pantheon was a Sumerian pantheon. And that first pantheon arrived, you're talking about 450,000. Now, they worked and labored themselves for 250,000 years without interacting or engaging the existing hominid on the planet, which was actually our cousins before we were Homo sapiens sapien. They didn't engage in genetic manipulation until about 200,000 years ago, which geneticists can align with that. Their statements in their peer-reviewed documents can align that chromosome number 2 was taken out and fused together, and telomere caps were put on them approximately 200,000 years ago. And geneticists and universities are saying that was an artificial mutation. Well, the Sumerian records are telling us exactly how it happened. These people did it to us to create Homo sapiens sapien and make us into the workers so they can stop working. It was a big war that was going to happen. There was a coup that was going to happen in the Atra-Hasis. And they said, no, we'll get these beings to do the work for us. And that's when the genetic manipulation happened. But so 450,000 years, they've already traveled from star to star to star. That means they had been super advanced for a very, very long time. The technology that they had back then, at 200,000, 450,000 years ago, we aren't even close to cracking that code. We still have no clue. We only have 10,000 hypotheses about how the pyramid was built. We still flying around in planes that are using fossil fuel. We got cars on fossil fuel. We're trying to go to hydrogen now because EVs are no good. But we're not even close. We're not even in the vicinity. They had mastered the ability to combine spirituality with technology. So they took spiritual essence, which is the power of conscious thought, and they were able to now mix that with technology, giving them an unbelievable array of different types of quote unquote powers that to us were godlike. And so we're not even close to that level.
So just to break it down into layman's terms for people who've been, we've all heard Darwin's theory of evolution at school, for example. How would you say the real story goes as opposed to that?
Yeah, as opposed to Darwin, which Darwin actually admitted himself that he didn't fully believe in his own theory before he died. So it's a fact, but they never say that little extra part at the end in college, right? But what we're talking about here is an advanced race of beings that came to this planet at the time where mankind, of a different version of us, still look the same, probably bigger bones, bigger jaws. We found much bigger skulls around this entire planet. So we know that we look different, probably much smarter spiritually and consciously. But nonetheless, we were here. And then at some point, this war was going to happen in South Africa at a place called Adam's Calendar. And an agreement was made to add their essence to the existing being here, which was our cousin. So they genetically modified us. And then from there, we became the worker. So they tried at first this cloning technique, which I took people to see the evidence of this cloning at the Kamambo and the Karnak temple. So they could see evidence in the walls of hieroglyphs, the cloning technique. Temple of Hathor, where they had the birthing houses for the clones. The problem that they had with the cloning techniques was, according to the text, these beings couldn't replicate on their own. It was too much labor, again, just to try to create a population of workers. So ISIS says, you know what? I've had it. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to take the baby to term myself. And so she takes an egg from an existing hominid. She adds their essence to that egg. She puts it in her own womb. Now we're talking about now scientifically something called a zygote, or we're talking about in vitro fertilization back then. She takes the baby to term for 10 months. And there's a famous cylinder scroll in a British museum with her holding up the baby. She calls it the Adamu, which means first man. And she's saying, my hands have created it. That was the first genetically modified version of perfection for a self-replicating human being. Homo sapiens sapien was now born. And then this is where you get in the Bible, Genesis, the generations of Isis, Genesis, right?
Ah.
And so that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
And so she tried to make
Adam, as in Adam and Eve, right?
Yes, Adam and Eve, right? Yeah. So exactly. Now, when Adam was born, there were already hundreds of thousands of people on the planet, maybe even more than that. And so he wasn't the first man. You can't get 8 billion people from 2 people. And if anybody doesn't believe that, just start mating your son and daughter with each other and see how many generations you can get out of that before a one-eyed crippled person comes out, right? Yeah. So you have to be like, okay, wait a minute, not enough genetic diversity. 2 people can't create 8 billion. So they started mating him with these clones. The clones still couldn't get pregnant. So then they said, okay, we got to take a sample. So they took a sample of DNA from him, created Eve, mated them. Bingo, it worked. Adam and Eve weren't the first ones. So they said, now we got to make a whole slew of these people. So they started doing that, making these, in the Hathor birthing houses, they started giving birth to Adamus and Eves. And then now they've grown them up and now they're mating them together. They're creating genetic diversity and they're creating a population of people that can replicate on their own. The evidence of this is when Cain kills Abel, God comes back. It's actually Yahweh, which is actually Enlil from the Sumerian tablets. And he says, what's going on here? Now, you're God. You should already know what's going on here. Mm-hmm. But he obviously kills his brother out of jealousy. He kicks him out of the garden. And Cain says, the people out there will kill me. Well, what people? There shouldn't be anybody out there. And then God says, don't worry. I put a mark on your head. So they'll know. I'm going to brand you. So they'll know you, my boy. Nobody's going to touch you. So don't worry about it. And when you get out there, by the way, the Bible says you'll find a wife.
Oy, I tell you. One thing after another, eh? One thing after another. But you know something? If you've been telling yourself that story for so long, and you've been telling them ways for so long, then it becomes your reality. I just wanted to start the show off because we're coming into the fantasy line. We're coming into the fantasy time right now. It becoming the holiday season, right? This is the last day of this month, last few hours of this month. And I just want to share that one there, right? Because why? When you know something? There are a lot of us in our community who have different various theories, you know, underground dwelling people, yeah? And also, you know, yes, you know, people who live in a different time zone to us, but they're moving around us as well, you know, things like this. So, you know, these are the different elements that we are actually facing. These are the different things that we are constantly being bombarded with, right? And yet the only thing that we should concern ourselves with, or the first thing we should concern ourselves with, is living a good quality existence right now. Yeah? You're in tune to the Black Father Support Group show here on the galaxy of ForWe.net. with myself, Aston, who's hosting this evening. If you wish to come and join in the conversation, the lines are open on 0203 289 6504. Right. Also, the text line is open on 079 47 479 219. Brother D, you really chose something into the mix this strong, yes, sir. But you know what? Thank you, because there are many ways of how we look at our creation, our existence, even at this time here, right? And I think it's very important that we look at these things and just know that they're there, that these theories are actually there, because if we don't look at these things and then just take it for what it can be, right? Yes, what it can be, then you know what happens? What happens is that we just all of a sudden get thrown into a quandary of a lot of conspiracies. Yeah, a lot of conspiracies. But at least we know. Oh yeah, I heard about that, and I have a knowledge of that. What's going on over there? Yeah. Don't let everybody fool you all the time. Yes. Okay, family. Don't let everybody fool you all the time. And let me just take that one down. If you want to view us live as well, we're on the Facebook, right? What are we on? We are on the Blacknificent Radio Show, also on galaxyforwe.net, on the Facebook, and also on the Facebook myself on there as well. Okay. So you can view us live on there. Also, if you view us, you can make commentaries through the talk line on the, I think it's the YouTube, right? If you go on Blacknificent Radio on the YouTube as well, so you can get contact with myself as well, right? And yes, so I look forward to interacting with you all on this evening here on the Black Father Support Group Radio Show, right? So we'll be back in a momento, right after this one.
Yes, my skin is black, but that's no reason to hold me back. Give me love. I want some desires, just like you. Tell me what to stop, because it's coming through. No matter how you try, you can't stop me. No. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop me now. Yes, your skin is white. Does that make you right? Give me love. This is the message to you. Together we stand, divided we fall. So look in the mirror, you see what is it you are. I know, just like me. But I refuse to see the laws of society is made for you and me. Because of my core, I struggle to be free. Sticks and stones can be my home. So let me I'm gonna sing no matter how you try to stop. No, 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 no.
Back in the days of slavery, the African American slaves would cook up a nice Thanksgiving turkey meal for their masters and entertain them throughout the night. They would force the slaves to entertain their friends and family, who would then vote on which slave was the best entertainer and which was worst. The loser were then sold at auction the next day, which they called Black Friday. The slave purchasers knew the day following Thanksgiving there would be an auction, so that go prepared for the sale. They would get up early every morning, hoping they would be the first one in line, similar to today's Black Friday. Hundreds would show up hoping they could be the first to purchase the slaves that were on sale. This was the one day out of the year that the slaves were reduced in price.
I tell you, there's no stopping them now. There's no stopping them now, right? I'm telling you, these people here, so you see. And the thing is now, is that we, how can I say it? We just seem to just forget about the origins of a lot of these practices. Yeah. Have you noticed over the years, right? I'm gonna, it's a seasonal talk. I'm just giving a little bit of a seasonal talk this evening here. Have you noticed over the years, right, how it seems like every month, right? Every month there's some form of celebration, right? Yeah. Oh, it's just various. I can't even remember most of them now. I can't even remember most of them, apart from the old regular ones that we used to have. It seems like every month there is, oh, special day. This is a special day that we've dedicated to. Huh? It seems like there's a global movement of recognition, days of recognition. But yet, when it comes to recognition of our own direct actions, heroines, heroes, activists, we seem to put that aside. But yet, we're willing to take up other cultures, their practices, their days of celebration. What was the other day? The other day they had a New Year's Day. Who was it now? I can't remember exactly who it was. I can't remember who it was exactly, but it was a New Year's celebration. Right? It was a New Year's celebration. And even with that, there was still acknowledgement, because I saw in various places, right? And the thing is, it's nothing, in my opinion, it has nothing to do with us directly. It has nothing to do with us directly. But yet, there was acknowledgement. There was acknowledgement for it. There was acknowledgement given to it in various places. Good evening, my brother. Good evening, Brother Julius.
Yes, good evening, Brother Austin. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well, man. It's, you know, I have to laugh. I have to laugh really at the moment. Because the contents that I'm bringing this evening, right, is let's say the base of my conversations this evening is don't be fooled and dragged into all these forms of celebrations, because in one way or another, it's either a fallacy or it is a blatant lie, or it has been a derivative of somebody's demise. Yeah.
Brother Austin, you see the last one you just tackled? Yeah, man, that's the one which is happening, majority of that.
Yes.
Right. You see, when these people bring Poppy Day, it is when they have gone and kill in the rest of the world.
Yes.
And then they come with one thing now, make it look lighter, and they introduce Poppy Day, and it's to kind of what does it say? Well, we give thanks for, it's a Thanksgiving to their ancestors, the who have fight in the war and all these sort of things, right? And these people don't joke with that.
Exactly.
Now, we were also involved in that war. They went take people in from Kenya, from us, even my granddad as well, right? From Sierra Leone. Yeah, man, my granddad as well was in the army and so on. He fight that time, that kind of war as well, my brother. Yeah. So this is it. The people are working things in for their own self, right?
Oh yes.
And that's what satisfies them, right? And even when you look on all the celebration, when you say like Christmas, Father Christmas, and all these sort of things, you see, as you say, as somebody on demise, when it comes to that time, when they've been these so-called Roman people and all this sort of thing, how they were handling babies and young child and all this sort of thing, having all this intercourse with them and all these sort of things, right? They bring what they call Santa, Father Christmas.
Satan,
so be going on, right? They say they have to deal with some little baby them now, that baby them with a car and give people them presents. You understand?
Oh yeah. Halloween, and all them things there. All his, right?
Yeah, it's out of the wickedness, out of demise of something that has happened. That's what you see they're bringing. But to them, they make it lighter. If we go and do them things now, it's like, oh, look at these people. When you look into this Christmas time coming, you get a lot of celebration. You get even the ones that they call pagan, right? Which I'm not following there as well. That's their word about paganism or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because even that wasn't right. Because these are people who are in love of nature.
Yeah.
But what these people do, anything good, they will damn that thing and make it look like this thing was just damn rubbish or whatever it is.
Yes.
This is how much they have used that word pagan word, and it doesn't sound great to us. When you see, first of all, you brush it up, right? It is same like when we talk about devil. When you see devil, you brush it up, but not knowing that the devil itself is a god. People have to do this research.
Yeah.
But one of the main reasons why I said, well, let me just call quickly, is to remind you again and let my people understand that these people do everything in their interest. And they don't do nothing for our own interest. Yeah? And the thing is, what they are actually doing, when it comes to like all their celebration, all these their heroic charms or whatever it is. None of them even up to now, though all to the Arab them and all this sort of thing them. Nobody have ever opened their mouth to come and say, wow, this is what we do against these people them in slavery and all these kind of things them, and enslave their life and kill them, and we catch baby them and we do all this sort of. Nobody wants to put their hands on.
Oh no.
This is what is happening. But if one of them begin with Britain, who is the one who gets a lot of places them in Africa, the evidence is on them, right? And the thing is, they have done this thing a lot in such a way that this evidence that is in them, they're trying to sit on that. If you go to Kenya, the old part of Kenya, the old Mozambique, the old South Africa, they get grants them all them places which, you see when the king, their so-called king left the last time, this is the war they went with, you understand? And so on. He never go and apologize or whatever it is, but he go as if he have a land in Africa. Right? Yes, my man. That's what he went
he was going and posturing himself.
Yes, my brother. Yeah. That's how it goes, you know?
Yeah.
But these people, that is the way they behave, my brother. And as you say, at somebody's own demise, that is what they celebrate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We can't do them things them. It's like an abomination we they use. Where we don't go and bomb people them, just like them. They can go and bomb anybody, even look like Israel. They support Israel and say,
you see?
Because
right. Even with that, the world is, well, I say the world, the majority of the world is calling for peace, but yet the leaders are calling for war and destruction. Let me bring in brother Kwame onto this. Brother Kwame, greetings. Greetings.
Yeah, greetings.
What's your contribution this evening, my brother?
My contribution is that other people, you know, a lot of us are full of crap, and we haven't got the will, determination to struggle. We don't want us to struggle. We want it to be sped, food speed is what the term is, and we're not willing to struggle to attain a goal, a simple goal that can help the community. Why do I say that? That shop in London that we all in Peckham is what I'm talking about. And I think the community in London, generally speaking, has to hold its head up in shame, because with all the community groups in London, and I'll bang on about this, with all the community groups in London, if including yours, Brother Afton, including all the leadership so-called in London, right? With all the, numbers that you have in London compared to Nottingham or Derby or Leicester or Sheffield Leeds, right? You can't come together and close a local shop, and yet our people are still going to that shop. And it's been what, 3 months now since that incident happened and our sister. I haven't heard from the sister apart from the first week or so. I haven't heard from the sister or her family. We don't know what's happened to her. Is she okay? How she recovering from the trauma? We don't know. So, to me, the whole thing needs a bad smell in my mouth. Right?
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying on there. I hear what you're saying about that situation there.
And Kwanzaa's coming up, right? And we're going to have all the Kwanzaa parties, right? But, particularly in London, right, you're not putting Kwanzaa in practice. Because if you were, Umoja, unity, right, you'd be united as a community to lock down that shop. You didn't Kujagulia, self-determination. You were telling yourself not to shop with Asians, but shop with your own people. Thus, hating being to go into their shop in the first place, let alone being brutalized by their people. See, if you practice collective working responsibility, that collective working responsibility would go in tandem to ensure that our people are mobilized and organized to shut down the shop. If you practice collective economics.
You know, one of the things that I felt that we like that we looked at, well, we didn't look at, right, but we were expecting, right, was for those who were going into that shop and purchasing, right, that they would have been sympathetic towards us as being protesting against what had happened, right? Now, the only thing that I feel that we fail to realize, right, is that, remember, those who go into that shop and purchasing from that shop, right, they are literally brainwashed anyway. They're brainwashed anyway, because all they want to do is get what they need, and they're not concerned about the other element of it. And they demonstrated that, I feel, by their actions. Now, obviously, when we pointed out to some of them, when we directly pointed it out to some of them, right, they said, "Oh, well, I never realized it was here. We saw it, but we never realized it was here." And then I will say that, you know, when I've been out there and when I was out there, that the majority of them, I won't say all of them, but the majority of them said, "No, I'm not going in there then," right? And then they turned around and walked away, right? There was others who felt that they were being intimidated by us demonstrating outside of the shop, right? And then there were those who were blatantly defiant, right, of, "I don't care." And then they went in and they went and got what they wanted and come out.
Hear what now, brother? Hear what now, right? I didn't think that the pressure has been sustained, apart from the first couple of strongs, whereby there was a presence, right, of our people, of the so-called conscious people. After those two strongs, it died down. After that publicity, because I think it was on London, LBC.
Yeah. It was on national news. Yeah, it was on the national news.
Right. Yeah. After that, hiatus died down. That was it. After those first few strongs, that was it. And because we have a drone down there, we have a brother minded for us. So we're drone down there. So even right now, I'm seeing live pictures. Right, one Peckham is dark. Right, there's some shops. We can see some shops to open. That shop is, I think, open as well. Right. We can see people walking.
It opens to a late hour. I'm sure that is 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock it opens.
Yeah. So what time is it now?
It's coming up to 9 o'clock now. Yeah.
It just 9 o'clock, right? The shops, we can see the drone, right? It's beginning to lock up now, right? They're preparing to lock up. So we've got a drone that I can see live pictures, yeah. So we've got a find it for us, right? So and we can see people walk past the shop and, you know, that kind of thing. We can see some of the grocery shops near there. Some of the man packing the yam and that kind of thing, the Indian man and the Korean man packing the yam and thing, and some black people walking by, you know, I mean, catching a bus. We can see it live. As I'm talking to people, I can see it live. But my thing is that there was no sustained community effort, or so far anyway, there's been no sustained community effort to advocate the people to ensure their shop is locked. Because for me, that shop being open, right, is symbolic in terms of like, it's sticking two fingers to the black community, not just to in Peckham, but to the whole black community in London, saying that you lot are weak, you lot can't do nothing, you lot just run your mouth and blah blah. But we know that you come begging to us, you come back to us because you are dependent on us. You depend on us for your health beauty. You depend on us for your hair products. You depend on us to sort of look good about and feel good about yourself, right? Without us, in nothing, right? And that's something inadvertently is sticking two fingers to us, saying that you lot are just a joke. Yeah. So that's what it symbolizes. That's what it symbolizes our collective weakness as a community to mobilize ourselves, to organize ourselves, to strive leadership together and find strategies that we can use to combat that shock. Go down. In Nottingham, we did that. We got together as a community.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't that conscious, but it understood that a system would go out of business if the Asian man tried, got his way.
Mm-hmm.
So we sat down with the community, we thought of strategies, how we're going to lock down the shop, and we told our sisters that, particular sisters, that you are denying your own sister her bread and butter if you shop with the Asians.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and I think a lot of the sisters, went into that, got into that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So and then also they had men out there were just black men who were who were protesting, who were stopping people, our people, who were going to a shop, manhandling them. I know brother, my buff brother, right? He's about 6'4", 15 stone. You ain't gonna mess with him, right? He physically handled people there. Stopping into Asian man's shop, right? And mama was not gonna mess with him, right? So we used all the methods, right, that we knew of, including that if the Asian people came back after we kicked them out, because that's some of them are like, they'll come back again and try and tell us this stuff. We even had a strategy to counter that if they came back. But what it was is that our strategy, right, meant that within 1 month, the Asian man had to leave because he was losing 100K a week. And we're not a big community. We're not that big. Peckham, there's more black people in Peckham or that borough than there is in Nottingham. Right? But we were able to shut the shop down within a month. I don't understand why in London it's different.
Right. Right. From my understanding, and this is what I feel what happened, because this person had multiple businesses nationwide, right? Over 40 different establishments that I know of. Okay. And obviously through him doing that, he was able to like as you saw, they changed the facade of the shop. They changed the staff that was within the shop as well. But still the money was flowing. Anyhow, of course it was flowing, right? What I was disturbed in hearing from him, right, is that he had put out some information, right, of how the lack of business was affecting him and all this, and which was, in my opinion, a blatant lie. Right? Because the fact is that if you've got 40 odd businesses nationwide, unless every one of those businesses are being affected in the same way, like what we was doing outside the Peckham establishment, right? Then you had nothing to really complain about, yeah. Unless the Peckham shop was your only source of income, and then you were subsidizing all the other businesses by doing that. But I don't think that was the case in any way whatsoever, right? So in that way there, he was blatantly lying, right? And as you rightly said, and I feel that you're right into an aspect of that, they did not respect the fact that we were there demonstrating. Another element that I felt was a bit of a disappointment was that the local authorities did not do anything directly with us as the demonstrators, right? And obviously they still supported the business state being there, right? I don't know. I haven't heard personally about any charges being brought on either party, right? I haven't heard of anything like that. And I haven't heard of anything further either, right? So, I can't answer or make a comment towards any of that. But how I felt, how it was towards myself, yes, I personally would have liked to have seen that business closed down, And the thing is that as well, apart from what happened on that occasion, we've had previous occasions where similar acts have happened on the same high road, right? And they take the same position, change the staff, right? But the business establishment doesn't really close down. Yeah,
exactly. Because there's no community engagement, there's no community robustness, there's no community enforcement, there's no community accountability. You get me? Right? Let me give you another example of what we did not in right. So, two Blackish Muslims, this is 2020, 2021, right? I think it was 2020, right? These Arab Muslims, right? Pakistani Muslims, right? And their white convert, they had to stand for Black History Month, right? And it's about Islam. But on the picture, promoting Islam was Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson. So I went to the Muslim Pakistani brothers, right? Well, not brothers, but the Pakistani and Arab Muslims, right? I went there, right? On the table, I said, why have you got a picture of Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, and Black History Month? And they said to me, whoa, the Muslims.
They were Muslims, that's right. They were Muslims.
Right? So I said to the Arab guy, right, and then his white convert, because there was a white guy, you can tell he's a white guy, but he's converted to Islam. I said, you took him Malcolm, right? Okay, let's take Malcolm. You took him Malcolm, right? What do you know about Malcolm? Right? And I said to him, the Malcolm that you know, that the whole world knows, right, was not made by you Arabs, but was made by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Where were you when Malcolm was in prison, in jail in America, and when he wanted to look at himself, where were you? Where were you for Malcolm? It took a black man of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to come to Malcolm's life and teach him about the word, about the way of life called Islam. You weren't there, so all you know about Malcolm was predicated by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. And yet you hate Nation of Islam because they say they're proper Muslims. One, and two, you're jumping on the bandwagon of Malcolm X to promote your Islam to our people. And I said, don't do that, brother, because you're insulting black people and you're insulting, in particular, Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So there was three of us, the three or four of us, black men out there. And we warned them, right, that if you bring this thing again, right, we will cause rock up in the square. This is right in the town center. We will cause rockets in the town center, right? And we don't want to do what we're going to do in terms of like dashing your Muslim, your Arabic paraphernalia through this, right? So, lo and behold, right, the next Black History Month, right, which was 2021, they didn't come there. They didn't come with their Islam thing. They took Malcolm X off, they took Muhammad Ali off, they took Mike Tyson off, and just put a banner called Islam. What do you know about Islam? Yeah. So had not we taken that direct action and accosted them and approached them, right, they would have thought it was okay because no black person challenged them, right, and they would have come in 2021 Black History Month to use Malcolm, Muhammad Ali, and Mike Tyson as a code for their religion. You get me? And even Muhammad Ali, right, the Muhammad Ali that all the whole world knows, right, was made by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Nation of Islam. Nothing to do with Pakistani Muslims, nothing to do with Arab Muslims, right? So it was only because Elijah Muhammad became an ancestor, that's when Muhammad Ali left the nation. And we all know what happened to Muhammad Ali after that. He went down, right? But the Muhammad Ali that everyone knows, the great sportsman, this is for black people, for black people's rights, who even sacrificed his world belt for 3 or 4 years for black people's rights, was because it was made by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam. And yet you want to use Muhammad Ali to come and rear up people and to come and join your Islam? Will you hate the Nation of Islam? Nah, that can't work, beloved. So we told them, listen, right, you ever do that again, right, we know what we'll do you, beloved. And since then, they have never come back promoting Black History Month. They don't even promote Black History Month now, just for Islam. So what I'm saying is that if you take direct action as a community, right, you can get results done. But our sister, that was murdered, our Gambian sister that was murdered by a white man in Nottingham, right, we took action because the police didn't want to even handle the case, right? And it took 9 months. They were dead and dynamite. It took 9 months for that white man to come to court, and that was because of the pressure that the Gambian community and the wider African community took to protest at the MP, the local MP for Clifton, where this incident happened. We also had to go to the police commissioner of Nottinghamshire, which was a conservative woman, by the way, and we also had to picket the city council, saying that if you know that we don't get justice, there's no peace, right? So they had no choice but to arrest the guy and charge the guy, and now the guy that murdered that woman, that our sister, in cold blood, you know, by burning the house at 2 a.m. in the morning, right? He's got double life. Now, again, if that wasn't pressure from the community in Nottingham, the black community in Nottingham, that wouldn't have happened. He would have got double life. He probably would have got about 15 years and then parole. Probably been out in 8 or 10 years, something like that. But because we demanded justice, they had no choice but to what do you call it? Try the man, and then all the evidence came out that was a premeditated anti-black racist attack on the Gambian sister and their 2 young children, aged 2 and 4.
That's the one when her husband came after, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Returned,
it was American at the time, and again, all the community, the Gambian community in Nottingham and the West African community in Nottingham paid his fare to come to Nottingham, and even paid while he was mourning the death of his wife and family. You get me? So we don't talk, we act and get results. And even that brother, one of our brothers sacrificed himself to kill the white people. You all saw that in Nottingham. You all saw that. Brother sacrificed himself to seek revenge. And we said all along that we will get revenge for our sister and others being killed.
Yeah. I hear you so strong. I hear you so strong, brother. But like as I say, that they let's say that the authorities in these areas, they manipulate how they wish to engage, and in most cases they will be evasive to the maximum, especially over here in our areas. The only time that they will actually take any action, if they do take any action, right, is when there's riotous action. Right. So
But maybe that's what you all gotta do in London. You may have to burn something down for it.
We would be having a riot almost every day then, if that was the case.
Maybe if it takes justice to happen, if it makes things happen, then so be it. So be it. Because like I said, that brother who sacrificed himself to kill 3 people, 3 white people in Nottingham, did that for a cause. Did that for a cause. And now, actually the brother was tried today. We went to court, so he was tried today. Brother was tried. Right? He denies murder, but he admits manslaughter. Right? So, it's an act of self-defense. You know what I mean? He may get some time where he won't get life. Because it's not, he didn't murder anyone, but he admits manslaughter. There's a difference. Right? And we saw the brother in court, and we will support the brother. So we know he'll get bound up, but we support the brother. When it comes out, we support him as well. Because as far as we're concerned, he's a hero. He's a hero. Right? Because how many of you in London, right? How many of you, right, will get a car and plot a route to kill white people? you want to kill yourself and kill white people.
Well, what one of the things now, right? I mean, like obviously to be discussing things like that on the air, right? This could lead to liability.
No, but no. I'm not saying about killing on it. I'm saying that I know. What I'm saying that how many of you would exact what we did in Nottingham, right, against a just cause? So for me, like I said, if that thing happened in Nottingham, right, we would plot our revenge against those kind of people that did that to our sister.
I hear you, because like if you know of the persons who's done this directly, the one that I would say that has been playing on my mind for the majority of my life has been always the ones with Stephen Lawrence, right? Because once they were identified, right, as those perpetrators of the murder of Stephen Lawrence, right, and then the evasive nature of not only the police of the time, right, but the government, what was supporting behind them as well, you know. And I think to myself, boy, if this was the other way around now, right, like how they ran down the M25 gang or group of men, right, and then they when they convicted them, they were wrongly convicted because they had nothing to do with that crime. Yeah, they had nothing to do with that crime whatsoever, but yet it was like the whole world, and they made it known that these are the ones that did it, and they had nothing to do with it in any way whatsoever, you know. But yet, the ones that we know that did the crime, because they were white, that they weren't convicted, right? Or it took years for them to get a conviction against it, you know. And then the other side of it as well, which is a national thing, is the way how the police murder individuals, right? They go out and they literally murder people, and they are never brought to justice, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But that dependency, you see, what happens in London, right, can never happen in Nottingham, right? I'll tell you why it would never happen in London, in Nottingham, because we would enact revenge on that police officer, right, and his or her family. You get me, right? And we have some brothers out there in Nottingham who are prepared to sacrifice themselves, like that brother did, in June. So we're not scared, right? And this is why I got arrested on the 1st of Messiah, because I've been making a lot of noise about this, and what happened in June. But I got arrested.
Yeah.
They questioned me, right, for about 4 hours. Right, so that's why I couldn't come on the 1st of Messiah. And they said to me, we heard that you are, inciting violence. I said, what? I'm inciting violence. Well, is that a crime? What, can you prove that I've incited violence? Can you actually prove that? And they searched me, right, and I got a decoy phone. So the phone that I was bringing, it wasn't the phone that I was going to use on the 1st of Messiah, it was a decoy phone. So they searched my phone, right, there's nothing on it. I said, search your phone. I searched your phone. Nothing there. You can't find nothing, beloved. Right? So, why I'm saying that direct action is the only thing that these people understand. Direct action, right? Are enemies. With the Asian, with the Muslim, with the white, whatever, right? That's the only thing that they understand. Direct action, right? When you take direct action, right, they know they can't mess with black people. But if you don't take direction, right, they're going to treat you like full of scum. But, like rubbish, like crap. And they're going to take liberties with you, right? And this is why that got attacked, right? For me, that's very, very sad, because what justice did she have? Because that man should have at least been locked up. Right?
And that includes our sister Liz as well, who was attacked as well.
That's even, brother. That's even more. Why I'm even more angry, right? Because it's not happened to one sister. It's happened to multiple sisters. And yet, the community don't want to act and do something about it. So that the next Asian man gets a message that, I better watch out about these people, because if I don't watch out, right, this same fate will befall me. What happened to my brother, my Asian brother, or my Sikh brother? You get me? Yeah. So they will recognize that. Like I said, them Arab Muslims, right, that were parading in town, Black History Month, Muhammad Ali, right? We taught them lesson saying that if you ever do that again, right, this is what will, and this will be in town center. This thing was in the city center of Nottingham, right? Their local store, right? We were calling for us that everyone taxes the town center, and you have to arrest us. They brought that Muslim rubbish again, right? bringing Muhammad Ali, bringing Malcolm, and bringing Mike Tyson as their cover, right? They'll be dealt with, right? And so we didn't bring that again because of direct action and the threat that we posed in them, saying that you touch one, you touch all. I don't understand in London why the touch one and touch all effect doesn't matter, right? Because it's not in the right. When the Gambia sister was killed, right, we felt it, beloved. Sister was killed, 24 years old, 2 young children, 2 and 4, right? We felt that was in the day, the man did it in the break of dawn. The fire bombed the woman for nothing because she was African, because she was black. That was a premeditated anti-black attack. We felt that, beloved, because that could be my sister, could be my wife, could be my niece, could be anything, you get me? So you touch on touch all. So the community was enraged, but we were clever and smart enough, right, to put a strategy together, right, whereby that man will be brought to book and brought before court of law and dealt with in the right proper way. Or else we would have took his life. That was plan B. If the police and the courts on act, second phase of our action will be some of us go and take his life.
Yeah. Well, you know, this is war. This is war. You got to act in a war situation. You got to find strategy, methodology, implementation, and execution of your plan against the enemy. Because we are in war. All areas of life, we are in war. Right? But a lot of people don't get it, man. And so you trust them personally. All right then. Okay then. All right then. Okay. Yes. Okay then. All right then. I can hear that one. All right then. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, give back.
All right then. Thank you, man. Thank you. All right. The Black Father Support Group show here on the Galaxy of We. Yeah, I'm just throwing that one in. Just throwing it in. You see? These are the things that we're fighting against all the time. Fighting against these things all the time. Why? Why are we fighting against this all the time? It's because it is there. It is there. Undermining our community. Infiltrating our community. Why are we allowing it to? Why are we allowing these type of behavior and things to carry on? Rightly so. Do we get angry enough? Are we angry enough to do something about it? I ask you, are you angry enough to do something about it? Huh? Some of the subjects I wanted to cover today. Right, is one of the subjects I wanted to come today. And it just happens that I was talking with a neighbor who sees himself as a cleric. That means he's a leader of one of the Muslim temples in the area. Right, so he's one of my neighbors. I mean, like we were speaking this evening, you know, prior to me coming here. So it was about 4 hours ago. And I mentioned to him, how does he see the future of his religion? And then he said, "Ooh, that's a difficult one. That's a very difficult one." Admittedly, I probably had him at a disadvantage because I've been having this in my thought process for a very long time. Let me just give you a little lineup on this. Right there, it says developing a religion is a complex endeavor that involves deep understanding cultural, social, and spiritual dynamics. Africa is a continent rich in diverse traditions and belief system, making it a fertile ground for religious exploration. Crafting a new African religion for the future of mankind would likely draw from the content's rich tapestry of spirituality, while also addressing contemporary global challenges. Here are some of the aspects of what aspect that might be considered. Here's one. Embracing diversity. Africa is incredibly diverse for various ethnicities, languages, and traditions. A new religion should honor its diversity and offer inclusivity to people from different backgrounds. Environmental stewardship. Many African belief systems are deeply connected to nature. A future religion can emphasize the environmental stewardship and promote sustainable practices, echoing the content, traditional reverence for the natural world. Social justice and unity. Given Africa's history of colonialism and internal conflict, a new religion might advocate for social justice, equality, and unity among diverse communities. Just a moment. Just a moment, please. Just a moment. Ancestral aspects of African cultures often place great importance on ancestors. A new religion could maintain or adapt its reverence for ancestors, integrating it into a modern context, and then spirituality and modality. Balancing traditional spirituality with the challenges of the opportunities of the modern world is crucial. Incorporating teachings that resonate with contemporary life while preserving core spiritual values could be essential. And these are just some of the points that I highlighted as being important to actually bring together a form of new world spirituality, right? It's one of these things that we need to look for the meme, the change. What is going to be the change for our new society? What is going to be the new society? And obviously that is just one element of our structure of newness, right? And the reason why I bring this conversation right now is because we're coming into the new year. And you know that we always do this thing, or if we do it or don't do it, but we all look forward to something of it, what are we going to do new for the new year? So let's just open our minds in that way. Anyway, new caller. Greetings, caller. Greetings.
Greetings, Brother Aston.
Greetings.
Greetings. We give thanks to ancestors, of course. Funny enough, I prepare myself to phone in, and so I had to be off the hair. You know, I have to be not listening in order to do it. and as I thought, when you're speaking about ancestors, synchronicity.
That is why I'm smiling. That's why I'm smiling. That is why I'm smiling about this.
Yes, I'm excited too. Yes. So we give thanks to Galaxy Afiri. We say Wudum.
Wudum.
You know, for this great foundation was made to create the platform for which we are ascending, forwarding. Each time we participate, especially calling in, sharing, silent listeners, you know, connecting, and sometimes I become a silent listener as well. You know, we are all connecting, we are all forwarding, so we say ashe to that. And for those who are not of the sovereign race of African people who decide to listen in, they're also learning many things.
Yes.
Many things.
Exactly.
So,
which has been proven over a time.
Absolutely, because if they were not listening, they would not have the time to be chasing Galaxy in those days, shutting down the community radio stations all over the place, not only Galaxy of Fury, but many others, you know, shutting down, bombarding, etc., etc. That is other people from other sovereign race who's doing that. So, you know, there's many questions to ask of how the borders were breached. Actually, you know, there's a lot of things, you know, pseudo subjects and many other areas. The continued manganese, the genocide, ecocide, continue being perpetrated in different formats, in different patterns of pseudosciences, behaviors, action, attitude, character, you name it. So you have to know, and I have to know thyself. You know,
right? You see what you touched there now. Know thyself, right? I feel that this is the fundamental teaching that most of us need to investigate, and we need to incorporate that within the impetus of us even coming to any form of discussion right now. Know thyself, right? And it's not a case of, oh, you know, just be quiet and be careful of what you're saying. It's a case of really getting to know yourself in a sense of that, you know, like when you're playing a sport, a game of sport, that you know the abilities of the players. You know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you know how to adapt to be to use yourself to the maximum advantage. Yeah. And like even in doing that, right, you know your capabilities of communication, to develop them to the maximum. Yeah. Give yourself time of thought processing. And it's only through practice of knowing yourself you will know you can develop that to the maximum. I don't want to take away your talk too much, you know, my sister. Are you there?
Yes, I am here. Yes, absolutely. Listening, you know, I just want to extract a few points and recognize what it is that I recognize in what you're saying. And therefore, as I was speaking before, the Galaxy of Seaweed, yes, place that foundation so we can have the platform to move ascend forward in many aspects of one's family are listening. And then I said to know thyself and expand upon it. And in expanding upon it, I recognized that there was key points that has been instilled or erected, I must say, in the foundation of galaxy of physics. Had it not been, the order would not be in place. So you talk about the sport. In order to have that recognition of what one is capable of doing and determining the position, the stance, whatever, the principle has to be practiced. So there's an order that is set for the principle to work. If there is no principle, and then there wouldn't be any order. So once the order, it underpins the principle and it's put in place and order, so we don't become out of order. So then it goes back into management. It goes back to the family. It goes back to the brothers who are the forebearers of galaxy affinity. And the brothers who were the forebearers of all the community radio station, and those sisters who have helped, particular in the administration and taking notes and minutes. And then to then readdress, redrafting, relooking, look back in the foundation, something shifting, you know, it is so important to go in and go on that, you know, when you have a foundation, you know where it starts. And so you know where you need to go back and look. When you're making a foundation, you know, when you're drafting out and you're plumbing the earth, to plumb it, to plumb that foundation, you're going to drop the plumb and make that mark. So you know you gouge out the men, they gouge out the earth, they do this, they do that, many levels. And because I saw the parents do this, the father do it, and the elders, they did some work. So I know what it is I'm talking about. There's certain equipment that is used, which is like I remember it is shaped like some sort of a triangle. I can't explain it. I don't know if you've seen it before. It goes back into the geometry. So they were using geometry in creating those foundations. And the foundation is created, and what they mix within the mixture to create the foundation, and they put in the steel and the rubber. It's very hard for the earthquake to knock it totally down, you know, it's natural order, yes? You understand? So the overstand, the upperstand, so the...
Go ahead.
Yeah? So again, if certain principle is not followed, and like in any foundation of whatever you want to bring into being, and for it to be leveled, like leveled so that you can roll a marble and there is no dip on it. I'm talking about foundation that I know of. But you know, hey, foundation that I know of different orders of work. To roll a marble, when you look at certain work and craft that is done, I am talking about, I have seen it, yes, so I know. Because, you know, in Jamaica, there is so many different groups and families and connections, and so I was able to move as a girl child, as a growing through, to go into factories where productions are made and the levels of productions. And when I look back now, you know, the Sankofa, with thank offering, the orders that the elders, the ancestors, I say to them, and I know what it is about. So that kind of foundation, a lot of us come out of it. Dr. Habu, he was grown there. He sees many, many, many things, and Chief Pakumba by now, his name, Chief Pakumba by.
Yeah.
So many foundation, and over here, the same foundations of the brothers as the young ones who came here, who were the pioneering family, were well trained. So certain principles and the order that the family put in place was already instilled in us. And this is the reason why we have to know thyself. So my stating that knowing thyself is relating to know from where you came. It's better to follow the skills of your mothers and fathers and your forefathers, the grandparents, they have certain foundations. Try and see whether or not we can bring back that and instill it into our youth, because we run away with the others and it was a setup.
One of the things that I've always admired, right, is that we have been very blessed to have had some serious input over the years through Galaxy, right? And I would say global influencers. They call them influencers now, isn't it? Icons, as we used to call them right now. We've been very blessed here in Galaxy to have them come through our doors and share their works, their knowledge. And for me, right, as I said, it's something that has been buzzing for about a year now in my mind, right? Mainly possibly because of the journey that I'm imparting on myself, right? And recognizing that there is a shift and change in pattern, and it's been mentioned by many a presenter on here, and also by many of those who are aware of the change that is happening right now. And it's one of those things that I recognize that it should happen, and it must happen for us to see and have a foundation for the society that we need to create, right? As you see it, and you've just shared with us the acknowledgement of knowing thyself, the process of knowing thyself, for me, right, is to really develop our faculties to the maximum, right? In other words, really get to know how our interaction, our communication, our personal development, and we need to operate at a much higher level than what we are even operating in our own personal existence even now, right? For me, right, there is no time to start apart from now. So when you come to your awakening, your time for your shift, that is the time that you need to that is when you need to make your move. That is when you take time, you need to say, okay, time for a change. Yeah. The beauty of this is that each time I'm listening to Galaxy, I'm hearing younger and younger and younger participants will come to Galaxy. And the beauty of it is that they may be, in effect, more advanced than what many of us are exhibiting, but they just haven't formulated the language of expression. And it's for us to nurture them into that state of that they can express, they can be who they need to be for the development and play their part effectively as well. And we need to really nurture our young. We really do need to nurture our young, right? And it's not a case of, you're going to push them into something that they don't know. There are those who will move and gravitate to it naturally. There are those who, once they've been told and shown the way, then they will find a way how to do it. There will be those who need to be guided completely, 100% all the way. But we have to push them. We have to make sure that they are moving in that direction. And that's how I see our development coming in the very, very imminent future. Yeah.
It's a positive projection. We say afraid to that. I don't want to digress too far.
No. Go ahead. There's no problem. No problem.
Of calling in, very importantly, is to share some information. And this is an information about an exhibition which is called Ode to the Ancestors. So ODE to the Ancestors. And this is an exhibition which is at the Ornament Museum in South London.
The Ornaments Museum.
The Ornaments Museum. And the information that I've found out and we researched is not very much is there, but you can go online and you will get the information. It's relating to there's a sister exhibition featuring the same image is being held by the National Museum of Kenya at Fort, listen to the name of the place, at Fort Jesus. Are we listening, family? So the name is held by the National Museum of Kenya at Fort Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. It says that the two exhibitions commemorate the many African Kenyan archaeologists whose names are absent from archaeological archives. The historical image and story of the African archaeologists are presented alongside new works by a group of young people with African and Caribbean heritage in the UK. So it says their exhibit expresses what reclaimed African history means to them. Students in Kenya have also undertaken research and their own findings will be available online. Now, there is a name that is mentioned here, and it is the name Sherry Davis. And underneath that caption, it says, Ode to the Ancestors is curated by musician, filmmaker, and curator Sherry Davis, a former community action researcher. And then it goes on to say, Sherry has spent much of 2022 researching the name of the Kenyan archaeologists, conservators, and heritage professionals in partnership with the photographer and researcher Okoyo, which is spelled O-K-O-K-O. I hope I pronounced it right. Ash Ikoyi. So the surname is spelled A-S-H-I-K-O-Y-E. So I shall spell its name again. O-K-O-K-O. Hikoye. That's Okoyo Ashikoyi. I hope I pronounced it right. I do apologize if I don't. And it says, and colleagues at National Museum of Kenya. So I won't read the rest of the page. I shall turn to the page and the first division says, "Oh, to the ancestors, Kenyan archaeologists." So give some more information on the next page. You know, one can research and local families will be able to go and have a look at it. And we're going to have a look at it again. The young ones have been, and as you said about the young people to support them and help them. And here we are, as I read the extract, talks about the speech of the young people here doing their own research and finding that the students in Kenya, they have to be young people who are people in education, but I would say a large majority of them are young, and they've also undertaken research in their own findings will be available online. So shows a picture of the it's mentioned a name here, passport photo credited Cheryl Davis personal collection. One would have to go and do their own look into it and get information online. Go into it very much because I don't know very much about it. I don't want to mention any names that I'm unsure as to what's the
when does that exhibition run till?
It runs until only the 3rd of December.
Okay.
So family news, because ancestors are very important as we go into, you speak about ancestors, we know we are our ancestors are shoulders we stand on, and without them, we would not, the platform that we have now, which means in moving forward with our lives and so forth, many have died, millions have died. For me to be here, for all of us to be here, you know, protecting those who were never here 500 years ago, but their minds were thinking of 500 years ahead. We have to battle, we have to fight, we have to destroy, we have to interrupt. We're not going to let, you know, so all the battles that we have fought in slavery, you know, all the battles that they fought, here we are today because they had a projection that we will come and we have to fight the battle just the same way, because the battles are the pen and paper, you know, right now, and beyond pen and paper, because it's pen and paper that's putting us in the prison institution, the mental institution, many, you know, picking up our children, you name it, right through. So we have got to look at our own archaeological sites, and we have got to look at our own archaeologists, and we need to get into those lands where we are denied access from. And we know that legal word, what they have, what it says, that legal word that is used, that we're denied access from, so that we can excavate and understand through the chemical and the physical process, and because we're looking at carbon dating and must, you know, use the very finite carbon dating, which is logical to the sovereign people of Earth, right? It's very key point. So archaeologists is very, very important, because right now how things are set right through to where we are is now we're being acknowledged. Without the work of the archaeologists, the Darwin theory would be represented as the norm, because and the Bible represented as the norm, because bear in mind they said, you know, I never forget in the schooling what I got, and many of us got, and you know, that we were never human, we were animals. And many of our ancestors, some of them are ancestors now who came here during the Ring Rush, and some of them are still alive inside this country, which I know Ella is alive. She was told to lift up her dress and to show her tail underneath her dress.
You see them foolishness
right?
there. Yeah.
right? So it's not foolishness. They were educated that way. The men who set out, the Caucasian race who set out to do what they done, this is what they trained, the train of thought was. And how that train of thought come into being, you got to consider 500 years before. Then before that train of 500 years, the country is another 500 years before. So whatever the time is now, from the time of slavery to now, we can quadruple it and look further within, because it's the information is within us. So the objective of what they wanted to do was to destroy the African race, and to the detriment that the treatment we got was one of animal. We were considered as cattle.
Yep.
So to bring it, when we decipher, we have to decipher radius, circumference, hexagon, span as Nana say, yes, as Nana Quaker say, radius, hexagon, span, parallelogram, span, you name it, and I'm going to put in a sector and tangent. So inside that, as you go into the geometry, you go into the circle, and you're moving up, and the radius, hexagon, parallelogram, span, you name it, the parallel line that runs across, up and down, you name it, yes. And he's going into the geometry, and inside as you step into it and you start to move, you find the arc, and all the sectors and all that, and the tangent and the radiant, and many more aspects that sits within the geometry. That's where the math sits. Everything's inside the circle.
Yeah.
Right? Yes. So it is very key that we recognize what has happened to us, and it has to be addressed. And we are addressing it. So the work of the archaeologists who are now ancestors, some of them are ancestors, we give thanks to them, and we have to recognize their work. They want to bury, they're trying to destroy their work by putting them in on the questions and prevent their work to be known. But they have done some great work and to prepare the way and the path for us. So we are looking forward to the young archaeologists. All of them, were coming through, and the students doing their work up there in Kenya and in the motherland of Africa, right across. They must be access in South Africa, North Africa, with all points of Africa and all the islands that is adjoining Africa, and all the islands that within the geographical reference point that should be Africa, that they say is not Africa, but it's Africa.
I think the world is waking up to the reality of the lies that has been perpetrated for so long anyway, so that we can see ourselves geographically and the impact of why is it that they're picking on this small little island or continent called Africa, and meanwhile everybody else is so big, and then they realize that they've been told a lie for so long. Yeah,
absolutely. So, brother, this is the information I really want to share, and the family widely. Please communicate it to every platform out there, other community radio stations, so that it can be visited. They can visit. It's until the 3rd of December 2023, and it's free. Okay, I checked it out as well. It's free, and if one is the old family, should attend. For those who cannot attend, we must all share the information when we attend.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my sister. Thank you.
We give thanks to Galaxy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We give thanks to Galaxy
All right,
for the platform, and give thanks for you to be in the Center Steve tonight, because I was trying to get through to share it from when, and every time I'm phoning you, I can't get through. So it's something that it's tonight that it's shared.
Well, the time, nothing before his time, yeah.
Absolutely, not in a Black Father support group, yes? So important, Father group.
Exactly.
The Father support group, the African Father support group, the Comitian, Al-Kabelan, because that was the name given to Africa. The Al-Kabelan men are our fathers who created our race.
So true.
With the Al-Kabelan men. You get it?
Yeah.
Whichever name.
Africa and Africa.
Share.
Africa for Africans. That's it, right? That's it.
So
Thank you.
Thanks for their great work and to guide and protect us, and for the divine ancestors to guide and protect us right through, because to be that interceder, because I'm talking about interceding, and that there is one that intercedes to the Most High. And here it is, the name is mentioned at Fort Jesus. Yeah? So at Fort Jesus, that is in Kenya, National Museum in Kenya, the place is called at Fort Jesus. And in religion, it says that it is that same name, spirit, who was a man before 2,000 years ago, this was the one who knows intercession for all of us. No. You can't intercede for us. Intercede maybe for the Caucasian, right? And that we must then allow that to continue. Then where is our Al-Kabelan spiritual ancestors? They're with us. They stole, raped us, murdered us, and billions of African people, Al-Kabelan people, have European men's name. The surname. You go to how many millions of Caribbean, to the old Great Antilles, Lesser Antilles, to the point when it was changed to called Caribbean. So that was a contract in place as well. This is a changeover of contracts, okay?
All right.
Right.
All right. Then. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, yeah? Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. So we give thanks.
All right, then.
So we give thanks, okay?
Okay.
We say Asher. Time is going.
Asher. Right. Let me tell you something. I had it planned to do this reading here. I'm gonna do the reading anyhow, right? And it's taken from a conversation with the black man's God. And this was written by Nefertari Efe and Akhenaten Shabazz. Right? And we do know who these are. We do know who these are. Let me just read this one here, right? And it's talking about negativity. Negative thinking is an affliction to man today. Unsure of their capabilities of inner sanctum, negative thinking has been generated by worshipping false gods. There is no hope of redemption in a person's living life in these religions or worshippers of these religions, and thus they are experiencing a living hell. Negative thinking leading to no hopers, loss of self-esteem, depression, constant repetitive thoughts of a negative nature leads to the unhappiness which is deep rooted. Not recognizing that they are thinking of negativity in also an affliction, as this is ignorance on the person's part. Negative thinking has become the destruction of most societies, especially in the highly technological modern society. The ongoing quest and need for more, being dissatisfied with their lot, breed depressions. Many people are depressed in your time, Nefertari. Their utterances bring them down psychologically. Greetings every day by a groan. They are function at the they function at a superficial level, not gaining any inner strength, not not strength, but inner insecurities and guilt of their own wrongdoing. The wrongdoings are generated by faulty thinking. The media is the main generator of negative thinking. TV begins the main one. Soap dramas, weekly watching these programs and operating on a purely superficial level has generated a non-thinking generation of people. They are fed with the TV producers output, should be. It has no benefit to mankind and is a form of mind control. Many people believe that is shown to have become zombies, not questioning the perpetual lies that they are fed. Modern technology is the level that the pictures look so real that they believed to be real. This is calculated by people that man cannot see. Unless man can move beyond the negative mindset, he will find no joy in this time. I just want to just put that one there. It's Conversations. This is from a piece of works by Conversations of God. Conversations with a black man's God. Sorry, right, right, and it goes into a discussion of various aspects of conversation, right? And I just wanted to just share that with you, okay? And yeah, this is a Black Father Support Group show, and I am so glad that you've been able to share this evening with us here on the Tuesday evening on the 29th, 29th of the 11th. And we look forward to coming back to you on the Rising from 11 a.m. tomorrow. Brother Aya will be up in the morning from 7 a.m. and we look forward to you being with us as well. And we look forward to you returning with us on the next cycle for the Black Father Support Group. And yeah, so until then, live in peace and unity.
United Nations, you're nothing but a front. Been so long, many moons and months. Why you never see this suffering nation? Who were people in starvation? Yes, done. Going through a struggle, like all left out to find that I'm struggle. Yes, done, not for personal benefit. Oh, yes, done. Even though she's not rich. If a little bit prosperity, not you are strong, and end to all. They have put down just knows. Enjoy life from all they know not about. And this is not word of mouth. Oh, that we still fly. Oh, would you know, would you know, would you know, would you know? United Nations, it's nothing but a frontier. Let them be observing so long. Many moons and months I say, why you never see the flight down before you bomb? Why you never get those examinations? Now, people who are placed in trouble, like how you those mighty and trouble. Yes, the time for personal benefits. Oh, let's go down.